We all know that electric cars are a huge part of the future of our transport. The new Citroën EC3, more affordable, more practical, more efficient, is a great example of the progress we're seeing. But what does the next generation think? What should we be doing to evolve cars for them when they start driving in the next decade or so? Well, rather than making the decisions for them, at the Big Issue, we thought it would make a lot of sense to get some of these kids into a room with the cars and ask them what they think.
Hi, my name's George and I'm 13. And my thought on electric cars, I think in the future everybody will have one. It's way better for the environment.
In 20 years' time, I think cars will look like very futuristic, and they'll definitely be using hydrogen fuel cells by that point in the future.
My name is Jake and I'm 12 years old, and I think cars will change because most of them, if not all of them, will probably become electric, and the range on electric cars will increase, and maybe they'll even be automatic and take you to destinations without you having to drive them. You would have to think less about how you're getting from one place to another.
I think cars in 20 years will have solar panels on the roofs. I do look forward to driving in the future.
They won't fly in 20 years, like some people think they will, but they'll be more advanced. Maybe autocar will become more popular in cars.
Most people get their electricity from the power grid, which is mostly non-renewable energy. So maybe they can charge themselves, have solar panels maybe.
I think cars in the future will have a better battery or energy source which would take the cars to go further.
I think it's important for car companies to care about the environment because they need to be using more renewable materials and reuse some of the materials that have gone to waste throughout their previous using of the materials.
I'm excited about driving, especially with the advances in electric cars.
So that's how our 11 to 13-year-olds see cars changing in the future. But what would they like to ask of the executives making the decisions that will really shape those cars?
Do you think the future of electric cars can make transport safer?
Oh, for sure, yes. We're already seeing developments in terms of ADAS, which is safety technology that's on all of our cars. And when you launch a new car nowadays, it has to have a lot of electronic safety aids on it. We have the opportunity to integrate all kinds of safety features into them that will make the roads a safer place.
What makes electric cars more efficient than regular cars?
It's a cleaner technology in general. So the fuel is obviously electricity, so that makes it much more sustainable. They are more efficient in terms of the amount of fuel that is needed to then power them for the equivalent mileage that you would get out of a petrol car as well.
Do you think that the Ami would be a good car for beginners?
Yes, absolutely. So I think when you're just learning to drive, you're trying to get a good feel of the spaciousness of the road, and Ami gives you that. Not only is it small, so it means you can park in the small supermarket car parking spaces, which aren't very big. It's obviously quite good value, so it's quite cheap, both to run and to buy. So actually for a first-time driver, it's perfect.
Could you maybe use a battery company that makes recyclable batteries for your cars in general?
So the battery partners that we partner with are very much focused, as are we, on recycling components from within the batteries so that we can make use of them once they reach the end of their useful life in their first iteration. Materials that go into producing batteries, precious metals, that's a finite resource. It's not those elements of the battery that will be beyond their useful life. So that's something that all manufacturers, and Citroën and Stellantis especially, we are really focused on making sure that we recycle things like lithium to make sure that we can use them in the future.
There you have it then. These kids are the future. And now you know their thoughts on the electric car as it is today and how they'd like it to be tomorrow. Citroën, over to you.